All right, fantastic. So now we're on day 4, or it could be week 4, depending on how, if you want to break it up week by week by week. All of it is going to still be super powerful. We're going to want to keep doing this to really kind of reclaim the spiritual gold. You know, we're looking to reclaim the spiritual gold, or embracing spiritual gold, or getting spiritual gold by embracing these traumatic moments where our emotions lead to them, versus like, you know, a therapeutic kind of trauma and dealing with that and having like a new label. We're energetically actually using our emotions to pull these like lost pieces of ourselves, so to speak. So today we're going to continue on with like kind of laser focus of a specific emotion, and we're going to do scared. Now that's going to be, this might be a challenge, or because scared really encompasses a lot of different emotions, and it's not as like sexy to be like, well, I was frustrated. You know, frustrated is kind of an easy one, because you'd be like, well, they were a jerk and they frustrated me and they're this and they're that and they're that, you know, all this out, 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 out. But a lot, it's really internal. It's in. You know, if you're like, hey, that's just a signpost to reclaim something that's happening inside. So scared is a big one, because you could be like, it could be like concerned. You know, oh, I was just concerned about that. But if you track it back, it's like, well, you're scared something bad was going to happen, or it wasn't going to work out, or it's like scared. So scared can open up a whole bunch, but now you've done a lot of work on mad. You've done a lot of work on frustrated, right? So you've got that. You've got some more, you know, you got some more mojo to now take on a little bit bigger thing, which should be scared. So you want to look at places where, okay, where was I scared today? And that might be too big of like, I wasn't scared. I'm never scared. Okay, where were you concerned? You know, scared doubt can be like, there's a doubt because there's a scared behind it, right? So you can use doubt, like where were you doubtful today? Where were you scared? Where were you concerned? Like all those are kind of like a similar label that you can use to start finding like these pieces, these moments of trauma. So it could be a place where there's doubt. So you can say, oh, we have doubt, you know, something you wanted to do, but it's like, oh, well, it's gonna, you know, what was that? Okay, wait a second, was that a moment of trauma? Does that track back to a moment of trauma? Like get that excitement of like, ooh, this could be some spiritual gold I'm about to get, right? Because we want to have that excitement for it, instead of having like, because you're dealing or you're feeling that emotion, like, and you're feeling like, oh, I felt that doubt, or I felt that scared, right? And that could be, you know, but no, we get excited like, okay, cool. This is for me. This is for my benefit. The emotions should be, you know, for you to help you navigate the non-physical world and this physical world, right? But if a lot of it's all tracking back to the past, then it's kind of like, it can be just like, such a grind. It doesn't feel like it helps me navigate my world better. It just feels like, it's like, I don't want to feel them, get them away, right? It's like, you know, I don't want to deal with my compass, I'm gonna throw it away. It's like, no, don't do that. We want our compass. We just got to tune it up a little bit of like, hey, is the compass pointing in the past and deal with in the past, or is the compass in the moment of like, oh, cool, I need to make a right, I need to make a left, all right? So back to the feelings. So we'll do it at doubt. Let's say that doubt showed up, right? Oh, I doubted myself. Okay, does that track back to a previous moment of trauma, right? And be a sense like, oh, I'm getting something, right? And you might get an age-ish then, like, oh, it's kind of in my 30s. I feel it in my 30s, right? You can do that, or just like, yeah, I got something, right? Or, I mean, since we're in the beginning, you could just be like, well, I didn't really get some, but let me just do an age check, you know, because 0 to 10, 10 to 20, you might get 20 to 30. We'll go like the 30, like, oh, 20 to 30, oh, wait, I didn't get anything, but I kind of got 20 to 30. Maybe there's something there, right? And like, and then you also play, like if you want to continue to hone down to where you don't have to do like so much, so you can kind of hone into it. You can be like, okay, it's 20 to 30. Is it closer to the 30 side or closer to the 20 side, right? Because this is where, because you know, right? There's a part of you that knows specifically, and we're just kind of starting to tap into that, closing that gap, and you'd be like, well, I think it's more closer to the 30 side, right? And then you can go, okay, let's go 26, 27, 28. Ooh, 20, like, I got something, 29, right? And then you do that, okay, all the moments of trauma at age 29 connected to this emotion, and you could even name it, connected to this emotion of doubt. I full reclaiming my highest good. You know, pulling it in, just letting that go, like, oh, and just noticing it, like, wow, that shot down my legs. Oh, cool, you know, or whatever it does. It's like, it doesn't, there's not a specific thing of like, if it normally shoots down your legs, but then other times it shoots out your arm, that means you did it wrong, or any, like, it's none of that, or just didn't feel anything like that. It's not, we're just trying to notice of like, hey, did the energy move? Or, wow, I couldn't notice any energy moved. But before, you'd always notice it really strong. Well, that's just a change of like, whoa, it was kind of a blank thing. You know, was it a blank or was it numb? And you'd be like, oh, maybe I was numb. Ooh, there's a numb place, you know? So it's just, and we just keep going on. We're like, okay. And then we can do our like kind of our stack thing where it's like, okay, we got 29. Okay, is there another moment of trauma connected to this? Right? You can get a specific gauge, or you can just be like, you know, is it above this? Is it below this? You might get, oh, it's below this. So, or you can, this is another little nuance. Like, you might get both. Ooh, 2 moments of trauma. 2 moments of trauma. You might be picking up both of like, ooh, there's 2, right? And you go up and you might be like, okay, is it at 39, right? I'm like, oh, I got 39. But you might get no on 39, be like, well, it was a little low. 38, right? You can get it that way and be like, okay, let's say it was 39. So all the moments of trauma at age 39 connect to this emotion. I full reclaim in my highest good. Just noticing that one. Right, in that one, I was like, it went out my head and kind of, my hands got all hot. I was like, well, that's new. That's different. Don't normally happen that way. That's fine. Doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be different, but just noticing like, I felt that move. Then we also had the other side, which was like, okay, because you felt 2, right? This is an example of you feeling 2. Like, I happen to feel 2, so that's why I'm bringing it up on the camera, because, you know, Source has a plan and showed this up, which actually is new for me. I don't normally get 2. So it was interesting. I was like, oh, wow, 2. Let's talk about 2. So, and it was at age 27. So like at age 27, all the moments of trauma related to this emotion, I full reclaim in my highest good. I'm just feeling that. And that was kind of like a spreading down my spine. And then also like my muscles started released a little bit. You know, just notice, like, okay, it's moving. I'm taking an action. I'm clearing something in the non-physical, and I'm having a physical response. I'm feeling it. I'm tuning myself up to the emotion, or tuning up myself up to this non-physical world, which is just amazing. And I'm also reclaiming some of these pieces of me. So you can continue on, because we're going to do scared. So like think, okay, when was I scared? And if you get something that's more in the past, we don't want to jump into the traumatic things that we've known. And because a lot of times it just gets so hashed over and over and over, and we're not like kind of therapeutically working that out. So we don't need to go into those. I mean, if it just happened to keep, you know, loop into that time, right? And you just got the feeling we're not working on like that traumatic experience. But if it does keep going back time, and it was at age 8, just be like, oh, are there moments of trauma at age 8? You'll probably get them, you know. You'll be like, okay, but we're just dealing with the moments of trauma at age 8, not that event and not that story, right? Because that's more therapy realm. And we're not going to therapy. This is not therapy. We're doing an energetic process, right? So we want to keep those separate, because that's, you know, there's all these rules about what's happening there. And it really doesn't work well in the energetic spiritual realm, because energetic spiritual realm, you're going to have certain symptoms. You could have body symptoms. You could have, you know, all these symptoms, and that's kind of like a symptom, but they're not necessarily indicative of a very specific energetic thing or energetic event. It could just be the way in which that energetic event gets your attention. Like you'll listen to, like, you know, pains that happen in your back, but you're not going to listen to pains that happen into your knees. So you're going to start manifesting pains that happen in your back, because you'll pay attention, and it's trying to get your attention to like, hey, there's something here spiritually I want you to address. Versus if you pay attention to your knees, you're going to feel it in your knees, and whichever way you had that biggest communication might be where you feel it the most, right? So that's why it's just like, it's not like spiritual work isn't prescriptive on changing symptoms. So it's not really good to do it. Folks are like, oh, if I do the spiritual work, it'll change this prescription, right? It doesn't necessarily work the way. It doesn't mean that spiritual work isn't amazing and powerful and it changes stuff there. It's not true. It can just do miracles, but it's not prescriptive. It's not like the universe isn't a vending machine where you're like, A5 and I get this out. You know, it's not. This is like, that's why we're building this communication with our unconscious, with then talks to the superconscious, and then they can bring in these amazing gifts. But it's about that conversation, and there's something unique for you. So pulling this stuff in, there's a game changer for you there. I mean, because you're here for a reason, a very, very specific reason between you and Source, and it's amazing. You're not a mistake. So it's epic. So this work is so good. And it can also greatly affect those symptoms that you kind of want to get rid of. So it can, but it's not prescriptive of that. So back to the thing. So scared. When were we scared? Which also could have been concerned, doubt, you know, softened. And it's fine if that's not like, hey, I don't want to be freaked out, scared all the time, and you don't notice that when that happens, then it could be fear. I mean, it could be when there's a doubt, when there's a concern. It could also be a fear of like, oh, I'm not scared, but I have a fear to go there. Okay, use that. Okay, I had that fear. I was afraid to open that door. I had it, because you're going to start tuning up more into that, which is going to greatly help you navigate the non-physical world in the present moment. That's why this is such a bonus, because once you tune up like the old past stuff and really clear it up, oh my gosh, you can go on the most amazing adventures and you will have no reason as to why you got there. Where it's like, oh, I need to go right, I need to go left, I need to go, and then all of a sudden it's like just the most amazing event, which only lasts, like this happened recently, just the other day, where it was like my friend wanted to like get to this one place, but then wanted to go find out how to do it, and I was like, no, I just gotta walk in faith. Right? And I took a path I didn't know to this other path, and all of a sudden it was like this beautiful rainbow coming down, and it lasted for less than a minute. It was like boom, boom. It was like, it had to be at the right place at the right time. And it's just that once you start clearing out this past stuff, like these kind of like just stuff you need in the past, then you get in the moment to where you can get that sense of like, oh, wait, I need to go here to here to here. And it is like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You find amazing places, but also that amazing of that place, a lot of times it's time specific, with a specific light in a specific location that makes it epic, and then you just get that magical moment. So that is coming for you. That's another reason why I like to do this work, and to just dig into like, okay, when was I scared? That's what we're working on today. We're gonna work on scared. What was that time? Right? And get, okay, is that connected to a previous moment of trauma? And you might get, oh yeah, I got it, okay. And then we'll go 0 to 10. If we're doing the sweeps, 10 to 20. Oh, I got something. Okay, 10, 11. Okay, 11. Okay. All the moments of trauma at age 11 connected to this emotion, I fully claim in my highest good. Just pulling it in and noticing it. And that's the process. And you'll do that till you feel full. Or just, I mean, it could just be like, I'm irritated with the process. Okay, maybe you're full. Maybe you're done. Okay, I'm done. And then in 4 hours, if you need a specific time, or if you get intuitive sense of like, hey, I'm gonna do it in 2 hours, because I feel like I got a little more in me. I'm gonna do it in 2 hours, right? I'm doing it in 1 hour. Or if a fear just shows up, or I'm scared about something. Oh, in the moment, let's do it. Let's see if that fear is in this moment. Obviously not if you're like driving and turning and you're not like, oh, I'm just not going to deal with like my car crash right now to address that. Obviously we're not doing that. But like, there's a time when you can do it like, wow, I've got a big thing of scared. Okay. Is it tracking to a previous moment of trauma? Oh, yes. And then also we can stack slide it where like, you get it at 30 and then okay, is it something connected to it? Okay. 33, 35, 39, 44, and then get a whole big slew of them. So today, we're working on scared, which could be doubt, which could be concerned, or anything kind of connected to that. And then also, if you got frustrations come up, work on frustrations. If you got mad come up, like they're saying like, hey, work on me, do that as well. Do it until you feel full. And until we talk again, because we've got a big day tomorrow, have a blessed day or a blessed night.